Wow, what a hole. Wow. It's not like we write anything else on it.
No. No, it's honestly just for me to line up the audio.
Yeah. But doesn't it work just as good if I go, pop?
No, because there is a distinct wave that goes up and out and then come back in.
Yeah, but you just look for that distinct wave.
Do you know how many distinctive waves look like that?
But that one's like a really distinct one.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It is absolutely not. That one is just a straight line. It's not going to work.
I'll get real quick.
Stop trying, please. Okay, that's enough. Absolutely enough.
Look at that hair. Hair goals.
Jesus.
Hair goals.
Yes, hair goals, hair goals. Alrighty. Senpai, we are ready?
Uh-huh.
Come on. Okay, give me a clappy clap. No!
Okay.
God damn it.
Okay, ready? Here we go.
And welcome back to Anime Shmanime, where Jordy can go fuck himself.
Why?
Yeah, already.
I'm just trying to
We just started
I'm
and
trying to
already.
streamline our process if I can remove the apparatus.
We don't need to remove the apparatus. We need
No.
to remove your vocal cords.
But
I like that.
How are we going to do Disney karaoke at Anime North?
That is a good question.
I don't know, man. You can do some weird like throat singing or something. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like that part in The Little Mermaid when the fucking seagulls sing. That'll be my part. That'll be my part. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
dude.
yes, Jordy is back
up?
again. He keeps leaving us. He keeps coming back, and
For
it's like
better or for worse.
Yeah, it's like a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
And if you were wearing headphones at the beginning of this episode, it's for
yes.
worse.
Yeah, I mean, Mikey's going to compress it. Make it good.
No,
but-
That's an
I'm gonna-
awful assumption.
Yeah, I'm gonna increase it.
like that time you did that to my fart?
Yeah, I did.
Hell yeah.
But yes, if you guys haven't been watching the last few episodes, we are going to be at Anime North. Well, these two are. So make sure you go say hi. So if you
Wait,
are
this
in
isn't
the...
coming out after Anime North, isn't it?
This is coming out this week, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
No, this is coming out after.
This is coming out after.
Oh, we just got back from Anime North.
Anime North.
It was a really good time. We had such a good time at Anime North.
Oops.
It sucked that Mikey
hopefully-
wasn't there.
Hopefully, you guys have gone and seen them.
Yeah. We're going to have a video out soon on all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
We filmed it already.
Yes.
You'll see our shenanigans
Yeah.
Yeah.
that have happened already.
So
Yeah.
keep an eye out for that. It'll be on YouTube, probably just on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, but today we are doing
A weird one.
This is what 1985.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, 85.
Which
85.
we should remark that I was the only one born when this came out
Yeah.
of the three of us.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Jordy's old.
Jordy's old.
Yeah.
He was 1 year
You
old.
spoiled it. They didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. They couldn't tell by your face.
No, or my gray ass hair in certain spots.
But yeah, so this is 85. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And for those of you who haven't seen this and you do plan on seeing this, make sure you watch it high. Like, don't watch it sober.
I mean, we did.
We did.
It's better. It would be better.
Yeah. And you know what? Surprisingly, this is one I haven't watched. And I've known about it for years, years and years and years, but I just never got around to it. But this is a fucking pretentious art school.
Wow. How do you really feel?
Okay, no, you know what though? I will say this because Jay loves this for the art style. The artwork is fucking bang on.
Yeah.
Like you being able to see, the actual marker like streaks.
Yeah.
In the different forms and stuff like that.
That's
like
cool.
you are looking at real art. And not to mention, this is for all you Final Fantasy fans. One of the big art directors was the
Final Fantasies.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
No, I like that. I'm proud of it.
What's his name again? Is I keep forgetting his name.
Yoshitaka Amano.
Yeah, Yoshitaka Amano, who I love, and he did like all the like really high fantasy kind of artwork for the early Final Fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
Right, and also like he's done covers for Marvel too. There's a recent one with Harley Quinn, which was really cool, but very cool. So if you like that kind of stuff, this is right up your alley.
I know we just watched it, but I do have a little funny description that I thought of in my head like minutes ago. Okay. It's like Disney's Tangled
Yeah.
meets that one episode for Monster Musume.
What? What?
You know the one. You know the one.
Okay.
Yeah, but
gonna
you know
move
what,
on.
man? Like that's not even like I get it.
Yeah.
I get it,
Yeah.
but you could have said like I thought you were gonna say like this is Disney's like because
Tangled.
Disney no Disney did a collab or an animation that was in the style of Salvador Dali.
Okay.
And
That's
it was
not what
a
I'm talking about, though.
I know.
I'm talking about the hair.
Yes.
And she's all alone. And then
an
a guy
egg.
comes and finds her. And they go out in the world together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that bird erotically birthed that egg. And it made you think about it again.
Yes. Yeah. My issue, I'm more about the Spider Girl, but
Yeah.
we've already established that.
Yeah. We
You
have.
do like your spider lady.
I
You
do
like
like
your
my Spider
Spider
Lady. Yeah.
All right. Well.
But yeah, so make sure you watch this high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take the advice from a guy who's never watched this high,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never watched this high.
but he thinks you should.
Yeah.
Yes.
That says a lot, actually.
Yeah. Because watching it sober
Was sobering.
it was so strange.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know what you're getting yourself into,
No.
or if you have any sort of preconceived notions, this one's going to catch you off guard.
Well, because the thing is, when you told me that this was the art director was the Final Fantasy Amano, like,
Yes.
because I've watched another anime where he was the art director, it's called Amon Saga, and it had very similar art style. It came out in the I think early '90s. That one like had dialogue. Like I mean, this had
teensy bit of dialogue.
and the other one like had a story that like I could follow.
I mean, to be fair, for 1985, this was probably a visual feast.
Yeah,
And the audio was like up to par as well too. Like for 1985, dialogue and plot or like symbolism, whatever
Yeah.
aside, this was probably really fucking cool top of
yes.
this game shit.
Yeah, agreed. I think this is one of those films that you don't see in the mainstream ever. It is solely put in independent films and independent like awards and stuff like that. Like it doesn't ever see the mainstream light of day.
Yeah.
It's definitely not talked about a lot.
Yeah.
It is talked about a lot, like in the art realm. You know what I mean? And yeah, obviously with the mono, right? So one question I had actually, Jordy, you said you had already, I guess, spoiler
Heard of
alert.
it?
Spoiler alert. How we fucking
Oh yeah,
work-
let's
how
blow
we
Jay up for a second.
how we
Spoiler
ha-
alert.
What?
What are you saying?
What do you mean blow me up?
Why we're watching this today?
No,
You guys are getting blowed?
I thought we were talking about that.
no.
Okay, you tell me what you were going to say, and I'll save mine for later.
We
These
watched.
guys are talking about blowjobs.
We watched this impromptu because I forgot to watch the one you guys planned, which was some stupid penguin shit.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the penguins in Madagascar, so
No.
I'm not gonna waste my time. I did it on purpose, guys.
Sabotage.
Here's where it comes
Saboteur!
out. For the first time, I skipped it on purpose because I hate you guys.
Wow. Well, we know that. We know that. We know that because you made us watch this.
No, you've seen Vampire Hunter D.
I've seen Vampire Hunter D.
Which one did you watch? The original?
The one you told me to watch.
Yeah, that's the
85 one.
yeah.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It was either that or it's Bloodlust.
What'd you
No, it would have been the 85 one.
Okay, so yeah, literally, Amano did the art direction on that.
Yeah,
Wow.
that, yeah.
I actually feel like that was way more advanced art-wise than this. But then again, like this was probably like very rudimentary, hand-drawn everything, whereas Vampire Hunter D was maybe trying to like push the envelope a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends which Vampire Hunter D you're talking about.
I'm looking at my notes right now, but it doesn't say.
It doesn't say what year.
I didn't know. I wouldn't have known. Oh, Bloodlust. It's in
That's-
in the title. I watched Bloodlust.
So that's the second one. That,
Okay.
was-
The
that,
second
that
one.
one happens like
That explains
30
it.
years later.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah.
Well,
20
then
years
I
later.
didn't
Yeah.
watch the one you're referring to then.
The original Vampire Hunter.
I didn't
D.
watch that, no.
Okay. Well, that's for anybody who has.
Yeah.
It was made in literally in the same year. Yoshitaka Amano was art direction on that as well.
Yeah,
And
Yoshitaka was Yoshitaka. It's Yoshiaki Kawajiri was the director for the Bloodlust.
art direction.
Oh shit!
And I'm not talking about Bloodlust. I'm talking about the original Vampire Hunter D.
Oh.
You're all sorts of fucked up here, Mikey.
Dude, I'm okay, guys. I've been fucking running on like an hour of sleep for the last like
Mikey's
week
a champion
because I'm like
because he's been catching invisible shadowfish
yeah.
all night, every
You
night.
just gotta let senpai.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways,
Anyway,
yeah. So
yeah,
that if anybody who's a Vampire Hunter D fan out there, you might recognize some of the art style from that. But the influence on this one is humongous because this really played into one of the early renaissances of like dark Japanese fantasy, which you saw take form in a lot of things like Berserk, and in a lot of like the From Software, Dark Souls games. Anybody who out there who plays those games, you'll see a ton of visual cues taken from that, and of course some of the darker Final Fantasy games as well. You're getting a lot of those visual cues, but I mean, this girl that you follow through the majority of this film, I mean, she's Lunar Princess Rani if you played Elden Ring, like almost to a fucking T her design. She just put a big hat on her.
Yeah.
And tint her blue, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like, that's basically her. Like, it's the big egg and the giant bird. I
And,
mean,
like-
I killed so many giant headed birds in Elden Ring just recently. Like, this is so classic dark Japanese fantasy in a lot of interesting ways. And then also you're getting a lot of weird like Gothic architectural work going on in this as well.
Yeah.
That it fits into this like kind of early Renaissance kind of turn of the century vibe because some of it is a little developed, almost like early wartime, and then other times is so Gothic that it feels almost medieval.
But it's not
in the
just
sense.
Gothic. It's almost like what is it? Biomechanics?
Well,
Yeah,
that's
right.
some of the sci-fi element. There's like I want to call it steampunk, but it's not steampunk.
No,
it's something
yeah.
else.
The
I feel like
machines
it's
that
more
they roll out for
Yeah.
sure, but like the buildings, like it's all like classic
Yeah.
Gothic architecture, like,
Yeah.
and it's beautifully fucking rendered and drawn to the point where I'm like, did this guy like major in Gothic architecture? Like he renders it so geometrically perfectly, and
Yeah.
like he lights it, he shadows it. I'm like, this guy could just make a living off of drawing fucking buildings, and people
Yeah.
would just eat it up.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the thing is each frame of this film to me, it felt like flipping through somebody's sketchbook.
I feel like there were some frames that were not great, but then some frames that were like breathtaking.
Yeah, but
Okay.
those frames are it's stylistically, right? Like
I agree,
there's-
stylistically.
there is his style.
But like, there's a big contrast to like, for example, we're talking about art now. We're just gonna jump
Yeah,
out
let's just get into it.
There was a big contrast between, like Jay said, the architecture and when it was like in town in the deserted town, versus like when she's like sitting by the pool in the woods and it's like there's no definition to anything. Do you know what I mean? It's a big contrast.
Yeah. I mean, you're also looking at something that you're not seeing like a lot of background motion that's happening, right? Like
No, a lot of the times you're watching literally a still image for like 20 minutes.
yeah,
But we'll talk
it's
about
a
that
fucking
later.
good
Yeah,
still image.
yeah.
But no, like if you, it's like that old school thing where you have your background and your midground.
Yeah.
The background is moving.
Yeah.
So like the sky would be moving. Your midground is totally static.
Yeah.
And then you have the actual animation that happens on top.
Yeah.
So it'd be her like drawn and painted on a clear cell that's changed over and over.
Yeah.
Right. So and that's I guess to us, right, that's where we have that really big appreciation for animation and anime and like hand drawn stuff in this era of the early 90s and late 80s. So but otherwise it's not meant to be like really breathtaking in that like sense.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Does that make sense?
I think so.
Yeah, it does.
I think so.
Does it make sense to you,
Does it make
Mikey?
Mikey, he's asking you.
Oh yeah.
Okay, then yeah, it makes perfect sense. I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about art. I feel like the bulk of this conversation could be art, but like one thing that kept getting brought up over and over again is how you can see every single stroke of the pen or marker in every frame, which was awesome. Even when there's like dark blackness, it's literally some guy colored in with a black marker, like a Sharpie, and you see every stroke, right?
Yeah.
It's fascinating to see that kind of stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. They play a lot with line weight and a lot of layering and I mean you can like literally you can tell like they were probably working with like paint markers, you know what I mean, on a lot of these colors, and you can see when they switch to a different shade of blue on the shading of this, you know, tree.
Yeah.
You know, they did a lot with obscuring things in darkness.
Yeah.
Chiaro obscura is the fucking fancy art term for when you are basically working from black and adding just highlighted areas to a black background.
Okay.
You know what I mean? As opposed to working on a white canvas and then adding black. You work from a black canvas and just add the lit tones, right? This is chock full of that. Like, and he's a master of it. Like it's literally a fucking master class watching him show how to make a dark environment still look visually engaging and beautiful, even though it's appears to be very dark and very pitch black. It still is dynamic.
There's,
you know what I mean?
There's a definition, and it's wild to know that someone did that with their hand and didn't just say, "Okay, here's the brightness filter.
Turn this
the
down."
knob as it goes. The digital knob."
Yeah.
And speaking of that, like, and not just in like the still frames and the matte painting, because that's what a lot of that is, right? It's just layered matte paintings.
Yeah.
In the actual animation work itself, their handle on shifting light and shadows and how that actually realistically plays on people's faces and things like that is mind-blowing to me. Because again, this is something that they're doing on a level that is only seen nowadays in 3D computer software, where they have something actually being digitally lit, and the shadows are just procedurally generated. Right? This is literally somebody deciding when that shadow or when that light is going to break across somebody's nose, or when that shadow of their eyes is actually going to kick in, and it's like precise and beautiful and just like. It's captivating.
Yeah, the one scene where you just see her face and her. Well, it's this one.
Yeah,
it's
and
this
she's
one,
going slowly into shadow.
Yeah, that was the one scene that I have seen of this movie.
It's gorgeous.
But yeah, so essentially what you're saying is if you're a huge art nerd
You'll love it.
or an art buff, right? And you know, you just want to know all about techniques and art things. This is a movie for you.
Another note I have that is to that element, but like less so on art, but more on like art as it pertains to film. Is like the choice of what I always call camera angles. I know it's animated, so there's no camera, but like
Cinematography,
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we're watching a very simple film, right? Of like a character or two just kind of like meandering through a landscape, but then we're watching them every now and then like through a window from a weird angle.
There's one shot you see of her 5 different times.
Yeah.
All
Through
from different
windows, different perspectives, different spots.
Not only that, it's a different perspective, and the camera's moving in a different direction. Every time.
Totally.
So that she comes into frame from a different spot, a different direction, at a different angle. It's mind warping as you're watching it.
Totally.
In a cool way.
Yeah, little things too, like there's a shot where you're looking at her through the water in her water jug, and I'm like, just little choices like that.
Yeah.
You know, change it from a very simple, kind of probably boring film to like ultra dynamic.
It's I wouldn't go as far as saying it's boring, because it's so interesting. It really is. Here's the thing. Okay,
It would be if I knew what the fuck was going on.
Even though I don't know, hey, listen. Even though I don't know what the fuck was going on, and I can't make heads or tails of it. It is so captivating, and in the sense that artistically it is, and it's so strange. And that it's just, you're just kind of like, what is happening? And you want to figure it out.
You're right. Boring's not the right term.
Yeah.
Absurd.
I wouldn't even go as absurd because this reminds me of like old school, black and white art films, right? Like,
Sure.
right, where people aren't really there to make like a box office hit.
Yeah.
They're there for complete,
Yeah,
artistic expression.
for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't fucking know what happened.
No, and honestly, like it's one of those things. Like I don't know how much it really matters. I
Yeah.
mean, like we're I know we're coming off the heels of talking about art, and that's kind of where, for me personally, it kind of starts and ends.
Yeah.
I've never delved too deep into the narrative that sort of exists here.
Yeah.
Or a lot of the symbolism. There's obviously a fuckload of religious symbolism going
Holy
on.
fuck,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
but also some other stuff going on as well. A lot of sci-fi and space elements going on that don't necessarily feel rooted in religion necessarily. So it is this kind of melding of all these different themes, and you can dive into
got
that
it.
if you want.
Mikey figured it out.
You can go, and I'm glad Mikey has.
Yeah.
But for me, I actually haven't given it too much thought on theme or concept. For me, this is something I watch when I need to clear my head.
Clear your head.
Well, like from an artistic perspective.
Oh, okay,
man.
Yeah.
okay.
It's refreshing to watch something like
Yeah.
this that is so flowing and free
Yeah.
and in the hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And unafraid to be rough at times
Yeah.
and show flaws and mistakes.
Okay.
That is a very freeing thing sometimes as an artist. So
Yeah.
watching something like this that is just pure handcrafted expression,
Yeah.
I think is incredibly refreshing.
And
for
when you
me.
put it
Yeah.
that way, I do totally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Unfortunately, I'm not that person.
That's okay.
And so
Yeah.
when you say you're not sure how much it matters that the narrative or the plot's not there, to me it always will, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because that's what I always want out of, film, TV, movie, whatever. That's what I want. I want that narrative. Even music a lot of the time. If I'm listening to a song and there's a story or the lyrics are telling me a story or making me feel a way, that's going to sell me
Right.
every time.
Right.
A beautiful song is still a beautiful song, but that's going to take it over the top for me. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
But like I think, the intent of the creator
yeah.
for me matters a lot. So like
Sure.
if that wasn't a priority for Oshii
Yeah.
to be super narrative and super linear and super obtuse with his delivery of all of these things.
Yeah.
If that wasn't his intention, then I can't fault this film.
I can. He failed me.
Yo,
This
you
is our
were 1
difference.
years old
Yeah.
when this fucking came out,
This
man.
is our difference.
And he didn't make it for me.
Yo.
Yeah.
So fuck him.
But
I
it's
know.
it's like
I
on
get you,
that
though.
same note, it's like Redline, right?
Sure.
When we did the Redline episode,
Explain to me how this movie is like Redline.
in the fact that it was put completely an artistic expression where
Yeah.
the narrative of what was actually happening didn't really matter because all they wanted to do was
Yeah.
something fucking artistically cool.
Difference being, at the end of Redline, I knew exactly what happened. At the end of this,
Yeah.
I'm still not
Okay.
really sure what I watched.
I'm gonna tell you what happened.
Yeah, I want to know
This
because
is-
you
this
had a
is-
eureka moment.
I had a
second
eureka
ago.
moment. This is what I think
Tell me.
is
I'm excited, and then we'll get into plot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we also got to do music too because I do want to touch on
Oh,
that.
okay, yeah, for sure, 100%.
So this is the Nativity story mixed with the Christmas Carol in space.
You missed the story that it actually is, which is Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
No,
It is actually that.
No. Listen. It is not. It is not Noah's Ark. Okay. It is because you have Jesus walking around with his cross. So he's Christmas of the future, the ghost of future or whatever.
What?
The ghost of Christmas Future?
Ghost of Christmas future
Is Jesus with his cross?
Jesus
Is Jesus with his cross.
Is that
Okay.
traditional?
Nope. Keep going though. I'm with you. I want to hear the end of it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, and this is with
Jesus Christ is the ghost of Christmas future.
Yes, right. With the cross. That's what.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then this is where the nativity story comes, and
Yeah.
it's the girl with
Yeah.
the egg, right? And it's a representation of the birth of Jesus Christ.
Which
So
is
Jesus Christ is also the egg.
The egg.
He's the
yeah.
ghost of Christmas future.
Yeah.
Yes, and the egg
And
is
the
the
egg.
ghost
And the
of
egg.
Christmas.
No, we're done with ghosts of
Present?
Christmas.
Yeah,
There's only one.
There's only
There's only one ghost of Christmas in this
Okay.
future. Yeah.
And this is all happening
In
in
space.
space.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
100%.
That was,
Yeah.
that was incredible.
So I got high after watching this in order for me to process it.
You nailed it.
I don't believe you.
No. You are drinking 300 milligrams of caffeine right now.
Yeah,
though.
that is
Probably
also
gotta-
true.
Yeah.
I want to go over that one more time just so I never forget it ever again. So the ghost of Christmas future is Jesus Christ walking around with a cross.
With a cross.
And then we also have Mary.
Yeah, Mary.
Walking around with her little baby Jesus,
Her
which
little-
is the nativity scene
Yeah, the egg.
in space.
In space. And then
There's more.
and then the whole thing is represented with the fish, the shadow fish, because that's a very big religious symbol.
Uh-huh.
So
It is.
it's just a mishmash of all these religious symbols to make what I just explained.
100%.
Magic.
I nailed it. Yeah.
And
You
so
nailed
this
it.
is why I hope you are watching this high
You nailed it.
or listening to this high.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you want to talk about the music now like you wanted to?
Yes, actually. So this is the crazy thing about the music, though, is that there really wasn't music. It was all like either the absence of or really uncomfortable tension sounds and like ambient noises.
I think there was definitely music.
Well, I
I
mean-
think it wasn't never in a major key. It was always kind of like uncomfortable and weird sounding.
Yeah, like sure.
But
Like
there was
dissonant.
arrangements and choral parts and stuff like
Yes.
that. But yeah, I agree with you. There was definitely like a melancholy sense, a sense of unease at all
times, yeah.
It also like got big when it needed to, got huge when it needed to.
But that's what I'm saying is though, because the music itself it didn't play the part. It's the atmospheric sounds that are and how that was orchestrated in.
More like the score, than like
yeah.
actual pieces.
Yeah.
I agree with you to a point.
Yeah, I mean, there was one like I guess musical piece that stood out to me is when like the fish do show up and the guys start chasing after them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was kind of almost like a Fantasia kind of like.
That's another fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's very Fantasia-ish in
Yeah.
some ways.
Yeah.
But like there was this like panic-inducing like symphonic like
Yeah.
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 It gives you that like that stomach
Unease,
churning,
uncomfortable. This is not a good
this
place to be.
anxiety-inducing kind of sounds,
Yes.
right?
And it mirrors what the characters are experiencing while it's going down, her specifically. right?
Yeah,
She's
it-
feeling all those emotions that the music's making you feel.
And it's all tied because like visually what you're seeing is also manic and,
Yeah.
and chaotic and confusing
Yeah.
and you're
Makes zero sense.
you don't understand the situation you're in, but somehow you're kind of feeling what these characters are feeling along with them.
Yeah.
Because they're also confused and scared and don't really know what's going on. They
Yeah.
don't know who they are.
Yeah, they have no
You know,
idea what
you're
the
as
fuck.
lost as they are.
Yeah.
And it somehow
Oh, you just made the
endears
movie
you to
made
them.
sense.
It somehow
Mike,
endears
you
you to
didn't.
them.
You didn't. Jay made it make sense.
If we want to talk concept,
Look, I made sense in the fact that I didn't make sense because they don't know who they are and they're confused.
Stop trying to steal Jay's idea, Mikey. He did
I'm
that.
not. I am
So-
just qualifying.
I don't know. I can't explain all of this. This is really choppy, but if we want to talk concept or like what we think this shit is actually about.
I want to hear yours.
Okay.
And
it's
then I'll
really,
make one up too.
No, it's really loose and stupid and rough.
Yeah.
But like, so like this is basically a fertility experiment going on where you have this large eyeball-shaped monolith that comes down and has a repertoire of like thousands of different things or creatures or beings that it can deploy down into this empty colony space that has a shepherd, basically, aka our man with the cross, whose role it is to shepherd in this being from this mothership and create life on this plot that has been centered off and cordoned off by these stones. And his role is to basically figure out how to spark life and solve the riddle. In this case, he had to figure out how to get into her egg when it was this cute little girl that he shouldn't have wanted to betray, and she wasn't going to tell him what was in the egg. So his trial is to get inside the egg, and because as soon as he gets inside the egg, she dies, and as she descends into the water and greets that mirror version of herself, the water fills with hundreds of eggs, all of a sudden float up to the surface of the water on this plot of land. In my opinion, sprouting new life and growth. And that is like how life begins in this little section, because as the film ends, you zoom out and you see that on this colony, it's all sectioned off.
Yeah.
And he's standing on the shores, basically having fulfilled his duty, and now this ship can now leave and come back another time to fertilize that land, where another shepherd will be waiting to figure out the riddle of whatever that ship sends down, because it's clear that the ship planted her.
How are you going to tell me you never thought about the narrative before?
This came up on my last watch, because this is one time that I'm not watching it to just draw art inspiration, and this is the one time I was actually like, maybe I'll try and figure it
Bro, I
out.
literally got goosebumps from you explaining that to me.
Does that make any sense at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does, man.
Yeah.
Once again, might I add, what Mikey said made 0 sense.
listen. Right? Then how do you explain the fucking fish and the fucking dick tanks?
It doesn't explain everything.
No, it definitely doesn't.
But it explains the narrative to a point of what the fuck's going on.
There were just a few things that happened where I'm like, okay, I could maybe see how this is a symbol for this, or this is the idea they were going for, or this just reminds me of this.
So are you okay? If we're gonna go that way of the fertility aspect, the dick tanks fucked over humankind, or that whole place.
He gets off of a dick tank.
Yeah,
he's on a dick tank.
He gets off of a dick tank.
He gets off from a dick
the same
tank.
way that same way that he's a catalyst for life by breaking the egg and fertilizing the land. He gets off of a dick tank, which itself could be seen as a symbol for fertilization.
Yeah,
a giant dick tank.
And we're on a fucking tangent here, but yeah, you're right. I also got a feeling too, like
the fertility symbolism in this is overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's all about eggs.
Eggs, yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
And fetuses.
Yeah.
Bird fetuses.
And birth, you know what I mean? And rebirth. It's like the symbolism there behind fertility is all over it.
I also get the vibe too, like we didn't really talk about world, but like we're looking at a post-civilized world. We're looking at a world where civilization has died out, and all that's left is her. If we thought she pre-existed, now I'm questioning she was there before, that she's new. But what existed was the fishermen, and I think even they and the fish are literal shadows of the civilization that used to exist.
Yeah, like I thought.
See what I'm saying?
So that was my one thing, where like I thought it was just like the ghost of Christmas past.
Oh, that's the fisherman.
That's the fisherman.
Oh, you're making sense again, Mikey. Okay. I'm on Mikey's team again.
You're right.
Yeah.
Fuck my idea. Yeah. I'm back on Team Christmas Carol.
Yeah, okay.
Call up Charles Dickens. We got a sequel to his book.
Yeah. This guy plagiarized you, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie, my boy, listen.
Yeah.
But I also do want to say, do you guys know about the
Ghost of Christmas Present?
No,
we haven't heard about him yet.
Because we were talking about music and the score and whatnot. Apparently there's a frequency that all horror movies and thrillers kind of use. That's really not like officially audible to humans, but you can sense it.
I don't like that.
And it makes you feel anxious.
Like the brown note.
Yeah, the one that kind of makes you poo.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's this frequency, and it's supposed to make you like anxious and like kind of have that panicky feeling. Because
Nice.
Yeah, because when I'm listening to that, like I panic that our listeners and our viewers aren't subscribed.
Oh, you son of a bitch! You son of a bitch!
Come on, that was pretty good. I got you guys both.
You got me.
You got me for sure.
Yeah, but because it wasn't good.
You bastard.
Well, that's just like your opinion because he got you.
Okay, well, yes, please like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast.
Dude.
If you're watching us on YouTube or if you're
Truck.
listening.
Wow, Truck Coon just destroyed us. We
Coon,
just got
right?
isekai
We got isekai
into Angel's Egg.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, if you can leave us a review or tell a friend, that'd be great.
Yeah.
It really helps us out.
Do it up. Yeah, it's good times.
Truck Coon will
Yeah.
always fuck me up, dude. It's so funny to do that.
Mikey is Truck Coon.
Yeah.
Too funny.
I don't know where I'm coming from.
Thank you, anime fandom, for inventing Truck Coon.
Oh my god.
It's amazing.
Okay, should we get into the plot of this bonkers movie?
Yes.
I know you say it's not important, but the bulk of my notes are plot notes because as I was watching, I was very confused. So let's talk about it. I'll try and skim over a lot of it. We don't have to spend a lot of time on any one point.
No, but like
But
this movie is an hour and 15 minutes of pure like
yeah,
fucking art.
if our
porn.
podcast goes longer than it, we fucked up.
Well,
Well, there's a lot
No.
of times we've had our podcast go longer than the actual
That's
material.
true.
they do no talking, and we do all talking.
That's all we do
Yes.
is talk. Yeah, good point. Okay, so, man, dude, it's going to be hard actually because now I actually think that Jay's concept makes a lot of sense. Because think about this, okay? The movie opens up. She's looking at her hands for the first time.
Yeah, and
She's
it's
never
quiet.
seen them before
Yeah,
because she was
because
placed.
she was stoned before.
yeah.
yeah.
She just woke up. Okay, then there's this weird sound, and suddenly we're looking at this weird giant alien bird egg, which doesn't make sense for that to be at the beginning. Unless it's one of those anime things where they show you the end at the beginning that I hate.
Very well could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I kind of think it is because
I
at
hate
the
it.
end of this movie,
It's a bunch of those.
You see a bunch
That's
of
the
those.
life she's trying to create. That's all
Yeah.
those eggs that came up when she died. It's all those.
Yeah.
Anyways. Okay, so then we see like our dude, Jesus Christ, the ghost of Christmas future.
Or in my version, the shepherd.
Yeah.
shepherd.
I'm gonna call him Ghost of Christmas Future.
I like that better as well.
Okay. So we see the ghost of Christmas future, and he's standing on a landscape that is literally just like a red and white checkerboard, which makes literally no sense. Yeah. I don't understand that at all. And also, he's carrying his cross, which is wild because it looks like it's supposed to be some sort of weapon.
It looks like a sword that he's carrying by the
It's
blade.
the wrong way, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking in my whole head the whole time, like, hey, it's a weapon, but like the fishermen have actual sharp spears. He has a cross welded together with bike handles.
Yeah,
I thought the fishermen just had rods.
yeah. They
No,
had
they
like
had
fishing,
sharp spears.
Yeah, fishing spears.
They
Like
were
did they?
throwing them all over.
Yeah.
Because they had the strings attached to them. I
Yeah,
thought they
it's
were
for the
just-
spears to reel them back
Oh,
in.
reel them back. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Anyway.
Moby
Anyways.
Dick, bitch.
Yeah, I don't like whale hunting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
like
awesome.
it either,
Either,
but I
yeah,
know how they do it.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So then
I thought it was like kind of like it was going to be like a
gun?
gun, like a bio
'Cause
gun.
it has an open end at the bottom too. It does look like
Yeah.
it looks like a lot of things.
Yes.
Yes,
It looks like a lot of things. So then we see this giant kind of steampunk eyeball. Again, steampunk's the wrong word because it's like
Yeah,
gothic steampunk.
It's like
Does that make sense?
it's gothic bio mechanics.
Steampunk.
If anybody out there is
It's its own
familiar
thing.
with H.R. Geiger, aka the guy who designed
Yes.
Alien,
Yeah,
okay?
it's his kind of vibe.
If you're familiar with any of his art, everything feels half mechanical, half bio, and everything is oddly phallic or vaginal.
And there's steam
or-
coming out of everywhere.
It's just
moving parts.
It's very strange and unsettling, but it was really really big in the 80s. This
Oh,
aesthetic
yeah.
was huge in the 80s.
So
I mean,
it ju-
people still get this kind of these kind of tattoos.
Oh yeah,
right? Yeah, like
Sure.
it's timeless, man.
I'm pretty sure it's called biomech.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like literally, like have they ever needed to change the design of the alien?
Never.
no,
Well, they did kind of.
But like, did they have to?
No.
no, it was
Exactly.
scary as shit.
It's timeless. There,
Yeah.
There's something timelessly unsettling about that mixture.
It's like a weird bug human or something.
There's something
Anyways.
insectoid about it.
Yeah.
It's unsettling, whatever it is, obviously,
It's
to
not
human
good.
beings. The same way like this music and some of these sounds,
Yeah.
I think are like they trigger something in us. I think we can say the same thing about certain visuals as
Yeah,
well.
for
Yeah.
sure. So
Yeah, she creeped me the fuck out.
yeah, she's weird as hell. She is. Okay, so the giant H.R. Geiger steampunk eyeball descends from the sky, and it's covered in statues, which
Yeah.
again at this point makes no sense. Now makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Jay.
But okay, but by his theory,
Yeah.
why is she the only one that looks like that compared to all the other statues?
They each look different when
They
you
all
look at
look
them.
different.
They look different, and we also didn't see them all.
They didn't all look different. They were very uniformed.
They all had different
know.
hats and helmets and bodies, and
Yeah.
like they all looked a little different.
Did they?
I thought so.
Different enough. She was the only child that we saw, I think. But
Yeah,
they
she
did all.
definitely
They did all
was.
have different, unique characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
But her being a child actually makes what makes it, like Jay said, so hard for him this time. That's why this one is the movie we got, right? Anyways, so we meet her. She's lying on a bed with an egg that I assume she just laid. Okay.
A reference back to Monster Musume.
Yeah. And
Literally,
she's-
guys, we watched this together, and Jordy's just like, tell me she didn't just lay that egg.
Yeah. I mean, you see her, she gets up, there's an egg.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
she's
I get it.
She's a sad girl. She's all melancholy and like having feelings. And she just quickly grabs her egg and runs off. And she like when she runs off, she's all of a sudden like kind of happy. Like she likes running around, it seems like. And there's also like weird feathers floating around as she's running away, which is symbolism to something. She ends up in a creepy forest next to some pond, and she's drinking water from the pond. And when she drinks the water, her hair does this weird thing where it looks like roots growing into her face, but I don't know what that means either.
No, I think that was just more stylistic
Yeah,
choices
sure.
for the scene.
Yeah. Most of the stuff that happens in this, you can just write off as them just trying to be artistic.
Yeah.
And-
As an example, they spend like 10 minutes just showing us reflections of trees on the water.
oh, yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the different ways to look at them too.
But they weren't like, this was an element where they weren't drawn well. Like it wasn't
It was
like a
very
good-
abstract.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very abstract.
But you know what it is too? Like going back onto the art piece, there is so many different techniques that they're showing in like almost in different scenes, right? To almost highlight that specific technique.
Yeah.
Like certain lighting techniques or certain shadowing techniques, certain, all those kinds of things. So I think that's really a big thing with it.
I'm
Yeah,
sure,
like,
again, it's
it-
all about
Yeah.
displaying the
You
art.
fucking
That's what I
art
mean.
nerds.
That's what I was saying. Like it feeds
I'm an
into
art nerd too, but I love it.
it feeds into how I was saying. Like you feel like you're flipping through somebody's like sketchbook where
Yeah.
they're like
Yes.
doing
Yeah.
lighting studies on these ones, and then they were doing perspective studies on these ones,
Yeah.
and then they were doing architectural studies on these ones.
Yeah.
Nature stuff, like all these different. And I feel like I'm watching that as I'm watching the film, and
sure.
like obviously, if you're not into that kind of shit, you're gonna be like, what the fuck do I care
Yeah.
about this fucking building?
Yeah.
Or this girl standing through this window doing nothing
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
She's just standing there.
Yeah.
See, I can feel your guys' frustration. I just don't actually feel it in the moment. I'm like, this is beautiful.
He's acting. Jay's acting, yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, so she goes into town and she's salvaging, and she keeps picking up these glass bottles. She's salvaging. That's all she's looking for. Glass
Tons of
bottles.
glass bottles.
She's pouring out whatever's in them, filling them with water, drinking it, whatever. Then she's out in the street, and like again, like an army of dick tanks roll in,
Yeah, that's so strange.
and they literally have like bulging veins bulging through them.
Yeah.
So it's like-
not only does the cannon part sticking off
Yeah.
look like a dick,
Yeah.
but the base of
Yeah.
the
Also
tank
looks like a
also
dick.
looks like
It's
a
like a
dick.
dick on a dick.
It's just two dicks stuck together.
Yeah. Yeah.
One saluting the sky.
Yeah. Absolutely. One hard.
Hard.
One
Semi.
half chub. Yeah.
Tastefully.
Yeah.
Semi.
Yeah. Getting there. So they pull up, and the ghost of Christmas Future gets out of one of the dick
Yes.
tanks, and he stares at the girl. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot of facial expressions going on. A lot of their interactions play out in facial expressions. He's like kind of got this confident, smarmy look, like he knows what's going on, which again plays into Jay's theory so well. He's done this many times, and he looks at her and goes, "Okay, this is the next one." Okay. And she seems concerned.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know what the hell this is.
Yeah.
And she bolts and hides until they're gone. She goes back to salvaging, and then the clock strikes while she's salvaging, and she freaks the fuck out and runs away. And this is when she's running and hiding. Do we see the fisherman at this point? I can't remember. Maybe not.
No,
We'll get to them.
I think it was after.
We'll get to them. Something about the clock freaks her out. She runs and hides, and then she finds the dude just like sitting around somewhere. And she approaches him this time, and I think it's because, and I missed this, but like she lost the egg. I missed when she misplaced it.
I think she left all her stuff at one point and then came back to it.
Okay.
And it wasn't there. And she was frantically looking, and he happened to be like, "Hey, don't leave this laying around."
And he's got it. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Although he says it in a much weirder way. He says,
he's like-
keep precious things inside you or you will lose them.
If that's not fucking creepy, I don't know
What's
what
weird
is.
about this movie, too?
And then he hands her the egg. He's like, I had this the whole time.
Here's what's
bitch.
weird about your theory, because in reality, like he had the egg.
Yeah.
Just to break it. Why'd you have to wait?
This is what I mean. Like, is it challenging for him because it's a little girl? Like, or does he think there's a way that he can have her potentially open the egg and where he doesn't have to take it from her and break it.
Maybe, yeah.
I feel like it's something that he gets pushed to where
know what?
Yeah.
he repeatedly asks her and tries to get her.
Yeah.
And then finally is like, she's not going to tell me ever.
Yeah.
I have to do this my way and just
Yeah.
take it.
No,
Yeah.
okay, so here's the thing. He was looking for confirmation with what was in the egg. When he finally got it, because she
Right.
does tell him, he
Yeah,
shows
yeah,
him
yeah,
the angel on the wall.
That's when
and
she
just
says,
go,
it's inside.
it's inside. I can hear it.
I'm going to help it.
Yeah, I'm gonna help it. Then he's like, that's what I thought.
Gotta be it.
That's
Yeah.
and then they go to sleep.
Yeah.
Light bulb goes off.
Yeah.
He
So he's
spends
just
all
not a-
night thinking about it though. He spends all
Yeah.
night like thinking it over all night.
Yeah. He's just,
All
night.
night.
I guess he's just
Holy
not,
fuck.
he's not a hasty guy, maybe. He also says to her at the end of this scene, he says, you have to break an egg to see what's inside. And all of us were just like, that's not the saying. And that's also not true because you could also hatch the egg to see what's inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody says that.
Nobody.
No. Next time I'm going to tell someone that advice. Hey, you got to break an egg to see what's inside.
But yeah, so that's actually when he says that, that's when she like takes off.
Yeah.
She runs
She's
off.
like, don't break my fucking egg.
And then then that's when they're running through the streets.
He's following her.
and that's
Don't
when,
say running because they're walking.
You're right. Yeah.
Casually walking
Yeah,
the
yeah.
whole time. And I'm like, that's weird because wouldn't she run? She
Yeah.
has been
Yeah.
running.
She doesn't do a lot of things hastily.
No, you're right.
Even look for her egg.
She keeps yelling, "Don't follow me!" And he's like creepily calm as he like literally stalks a child. Yeah,
And that's when we start to get into the fisherman.
that's
and
right.
then
Okay.
it starts raining, and then
'Cause
she
yeah.
gets underneath his
'Cause
cloak.
at first I'm like, are these old timey soldiers? And then I'm like, no, there's fishermen, and they're explaining. She's like, yeah, there's no fish though. I don't know why they come out. Like she knows,
Yeah.
right? Like she's seen it before. And my also thought is like she's been wandering around. Like where have all these people been? She's been wandering around town.
Yeah.
Where are they
Yeah.
hiding?
I had a feeling just in the
ghosts.
way
Yeah, I think so.
in the way exactly in the way that they in the way that they were drawn, like they were kind of grayish, bluish out.
Yeah.
No defining coloring or anything. I'm
Yeah.
like, these are definitely like specters or ghosts of some kind.
For sure,
You know?
yeah.
And then when the fish show up, which for all you fish nerds out there are oddly like they're coelacanths, which is like a weird prehistoric
Are
fish.
you a fish nerd?
Kind of.
What?
Wow.
How the fuck do you know
Just
that?
add that to the list of things Jason heard about.
Really crazy weird. People thought coelacanths were extinct for fucking millions of years.
Yeah.
Until I think in like the 60s, a Japanese fishing boat fucking pulled one out of the ocean, and then I think again in the 80s somebody got like video footage of one. They thought they were extinct for millions of years, and there's been like 2 or 3 that have shown up in the last like 100 years.
I so badly wanted to go nerd, but that's fucking interesting.
It's
as
very
well.
strange,
Yeah,
dude.
that's very interesting.
But I noticed this just from the shadows, like this the amount of fins on top and everything, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a fucking coelacanth.
But,
It's a weird choice.
But how do you know like the amount of fins?
He knows.
They're very unique looking fish, dude. No other fish exists that look like
I
that.
mean, to be fair, they just looked like any old fish to me.
Yeah.
They're one of the most interesting. Like if you're into fish, like
Jay is?
like and if you learned about the coelacanth, that shit stuck with you, man. That's
Okay.
the coolest shit
All
ever.
right, all right.
That they literally pulled a dinosaur out of the fucking deep sea
yeah.
off of a Japanese fishing boat.
that's the connection because you're a dinosaur dude.
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
that
That's
does
the
explain
connection.
it.
Yeah, that's-
Straight up dinosaur fish, dude.
Dinosaur
okay.
fish.
I
Okay,
didn't make
makes
that
sense.
connection, but now I get it.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Dinosaurs.
Okay.
But it was just so random with the fish.
Yeah.
No, it's very cool.
I forget fish can be dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Been around longer than dinosaurs.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Okay, so she takes him then into this like massive theater. Or she doesn't take him. She goes off on her own at this point. She's in the massive theater. She's for some reason glowing in the dark. And I was like, did she always glow in the dark?
Well, she's actually always glowed.
Yeah.
She was always lit differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'd always had like some sort of aura around
Yeah.
her.
And in here, it's like literally dark and she's glowing in the dark. And then later on, she's like, walks up to the top level where the stained glass is, and she's talking to her reflection in the glass, which is a very weird scene, but it's foreshadowing to what's happening later.
Totally.
And the dude is outside watching basically. And I'm like, was she talking to him? Was she talking to herself? I think she's talking to herself.
But that kind of makes sense because it's if she's kind of that holy figure being,
Yeah.
and her skin tone is all white.
Yeah.
And we have Jesus. His
Also the ghost of Christmas Future. Yeah.
Right? His skin tone is actually more like pink, brownish,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Where are you going with this?
I forgot.
Okay.
Oh no, no. This is what I was forgetting. This is where I was going with it. It's foreshadowing her that she is the angel, right?
Okay.
Right, because eventually you see her with the egg,
Yeah.
and then you see the angel, and
Yeah.
right.
I get it. Angel's egg. It's her egg. She's the angel.
Yeah,
I get it.
there you go.
Okay, so
I'm trying to make sense of this, guys.
basically,
I'm having a hard
they
time.
go off together. They go again together off. And I'm still not sure why they're hanging out together, but I guess the answer is he wants the egg, and she weirdly like looks to him for protection, especially from the fisherman, right? So
Yeah.
as much as she's like apprehensive because of the egg, she's still like at one point she says no to getting under his cloak, and then the fishermen all come out, and she's like, "Fuck, all right, fine, I'll get over there." So she also feels, I think, like she needs him a little bit, which I think is him playing her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, I'll do what you need, but it's because in the end I'm gonna find out what the fuck's in that egg. You know what I mean?
Well, I think also like like I believe that she doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I believe that she's not withholding information, that she's as lost and confused in all of this.
The only thing
as
she
he
does
is.
know is what's in the egg, and she's refusing to tell him.
Right.
Right?
But she doesn't know why she's there.
Yeah.
She doesn't know who he is.
Yeah.
She doesn't know why he wants the egg
Yeah.
or what he wants to do with it.
Yeah.
She doesn't even know what she's supposed to do with the egg.
No. She probably doesn't even know why she's getting the water bottles, because later on, this is just me going ahead, but later on he goes, how long have you been here? As many days as bottles? And she goes, no.
No.
Because she doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean. So
Yeah.
like as much as she's this instrument in this trial for this guy and,
Yeah.
and this experiment, like I don't think she's in on anything.
No.
So she's just fighting for survival.
Yeah.
Like any living thing would.
Yeah. In a childish way. She's scared of those fucking fishermen and this like strong man who's like kind of being nice to me.
Yeah, it feels like
lifted
the
up
only
his
safe
cloak.
person
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
ever had.
The only person.
Yeah, exactly.
Period. Yeah.
Yeah.
The ghost of Christmas future. Okay, so before they go off together again in this scene, she basically says to him in other words, she's like, "Promise me you're not gonna fuck with my egg."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And instead of even responding, he just kind of looks at her with a face that says, "I'm gonna fuck that egg up."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, so she takes him into this cave, which is made literally, it looks like a giant aquatic creature bones
Yeah.
and like
Yes.
weird cyberpunk artifacts.
Love the art here.
That was one really cool part that I really took note of.
It was really cool.
That
And there's this
architecture.
weird, like, digital looking hieroglyph kind of situation. He calls it a tree. He's like, I've seen this tree before. And he's like bracing his hand over it while he's talking about it. But his hand, I don't know if you noticed this, reaches like 20 feet
so
high.
high.
Like 20 feet.
I didn't notice. No.
It's just scrolling past. His hand's just scrolling past it. I'm like, that's got to be 20 feet. At least. Things that I notice. And he's telling some crazy tale, I guess, that he's reading from the glyphs, something about a bird and an egg, which is all is part and parcel with whatever the fuck's going on with this girl. Then they go up this massive spiral staircase, which is lined with her glass bottles like forever, as far as the eye can see, which is implying to me at this moment that she's old as fuck. But now I know it's not implying she's old as fuck. It's implying that like this process has been going on
for years.
forever.
So it could be a cycle thing where like
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. If we're gonna go with the Noah Ark theory, that makes sense, right? Water, the bottles.
Yeah.
Right? And it gets flushed out every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Anyway, so she takes him to this spot where there's like a giant bird skeleton in the wall. And they stop and sit, and he's telling her basically like, hey, I kind of also forget where I'm from and where I'm going. And she says to him, are you going to leave? And he doesn't really answer her, but then he starts telling the literal biblical tale of the great flood in Noah's Ark. And he tells a part of the story that I've never heard before. And I don't know if this is part of the biblical story or not, about
the bird?
a dove that flew away.
I remember that definitely in Noah's Ark that they tested
Yeah. Whether the rain was done.
whether things were done with a dove. And when
Actually,
the dove came back,
man.
that's when they knew.
See, and
Oh,
that's
weird.
in that moment, I loved this movie a lot because I'm like, that's the coolest part of the Noah's Ark story. And I'd never heard that before.
Yeah.
The whole thing about the dove never came back and they never got an answer of where the dove ended up. What happened to it?
Yeah.
They're telling us that story here.
Yeah.
Which is fucking really cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Interesting.
I love that.
Mikey's having a fucking revelation right now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Ghost of Christmas Future is also Noah from Noah's Ark.
No, the ghost of the present is Noah.
Let him cook.
Yeah.
Let him cook.
Let's get there. Anyways, so in telling this story, the dude is kind of like having an existential crisis. Like and maybe if we're gonna go on Jay's theory of what's been going on with this quote unquote shepherd, if we're gonna ignore that he may be the ghost of Christmas future, you know what I mean? Like he's done this a bunch of times, and he's basically spilling his guts to this girl, being like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I don't know why I keep doing this. I don't know where I'm from, what I'm doing, what the purpose is.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that as a theme. And in this moment, after he opens up to her, she then opens up to him, and she goes, it exists. She's talking about the bird. Because he says something about, like, I've seen it, the bird. You know, I don't know. She goes, it exists. It's here. I'm going to take you to him. So she leads him basically to this room where there's a giant skeleton of a birdman.
Yes.
A giant man bird.
Well, they're contemplating existence in that moment, right?
Yeah.
They're talking to each other about whether they even exist or anything that they are seeing exists.
Yeah.
Or if that bird exists. And that's when she's just like, it exists.
Yeah. Well, I'll show it to you.
And then you go and you see like the angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the whole skeleton, right? Like it's a hunched over. I mean, the skeleton is a hunched over like human skeleton
With wings.
With wings, but
Weird that the feathers of the wings were preserved. And the flesh of the rest of the flesh is gone.
No, the feathers weren't preserved. It was the skeletal structure of the wings.
I think it had feathers.
But actually, feathers sometimes can be fossilized, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fine.
That's how we know dinosaurs had feathers.
Do we know that?
One
though?
of the reasons.
Do
we
we know?
absolutely know that.
Yeah, it's like how
Overwhelmingly, we know that.
What color were the dinosaurs?
That's actually something we don't know.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Interesting.
So wait, so are raptors like the way that they look in Jurassic Park, or are they
Feathers.
We can get into that if you have time.
This is an anime podcast. Let's
Save
move
it. I
on.
want to know.
I have the fucking answer.
All right. Okay, so skeleton of a birdman, the angel skeleton. This is the biggest music moment, I think, in the whole movie. There's a massive musical piece here just blasting in your face as soon as you see it, like the camera pans to it. She basically explains to him, she goes, it's inside the egg, and I'm going to hatch it and bring it back to life. And he says, I know, but he doesn't like it. Like, he knew it, but he says it as if he's like, I know. But that's like him realizing he has to betray her in that moment, right? He found out.
Yeah, he found out.
Yeah. Then we get a shot of, okay, at the beginning of the movie, before anything really happens, you see this weird shape in the darkness. You remembering this?
I do.
Yeah.
And we get a shot of it again here, but now that we've heard the story, I'm like, oh, it's very clearly a boat.
It's the arc.
It's a giant arc. You see the oars coming out of it very clearly.
Yeah.
You just get a quick shot of it, but there's no context for it yet. You get that later.
Yeah.
For now, you don't. Okay, so it's flooding outside, like crazy now. The water's rising, and at this point, they both keep asking each other, like, "Who are you?" But neither of them are answering each other. They just want to know who each other are, which I thought was kind of strange. There's this very, very long scene by the bedside. She goes to sleep in her bed. He sits. There's a fire. It's like, what do you think? Like 6 straight minutes?
No.
It felt like that.
It definitely felt like that. I think
6 whole minutes.
No, I think if we were actually counting it out, you're probably in like the
3 to 4 minutes.
2.5 to 3 minutes of just straight nothing.
Just that
The
shot.
only thing that lets you know your feed hasn't frozen is that there's a flickering fire in the foreground.
It even, we talked about this a lot. It even fades to black for a second. And then back to the same scene. Yeah.
For longer.
For longer.
Yeah.
It fades to black in like the first quarter.
Yeah. And then when it finally the flame flickers out, that's when it was like, okay, everything goes dark.
We were like, whoa.
It is definitely one of those like more laughable moments in it where it's just like, take your head out of your ass, guys. Whoever was editing this, please take your head out of your ass.
You know what though? If I took this movie seriously, like that would have really set a tone though. Like really set a precedent.
And again, now that we know what's going on, or we think we know, thank you, Jay. No thanks to Mikey.
I'm with you. He's a dick.
Hey, dude. And now that we know, he's contemplating or like wrestling with, do I play out my role in this, which is to break the egg and, and birth the things, you know what I mean? And to cause this all to happen. Do I do what I'm supposed to do? Or do I break the cycle? Because he's having, like we said, this existential crisis of like, I don't know where I'm from. I don't know what the point is.
Am I supposed to be even doing this? Does any of this matter?
Like I've done it for years.
And he's got to contemplate, like, maybe I would have some change in my life or some variety in my life if I
Yeah.
just didn't do this. Maybe that's what I'm supposed to do is not do this.
Yeah.
But he does it.
Yeah. In the end, he does. Dude, this is weird. I've been getting goosebumps all fucking night for various reasons, but thinking about this now, I actually love this 20-minute scene. I love it. It makes the movie for me right
It'll
now.
be interesting on rewatch.
Yeah.
With that in mind.
Yeah.
To watch him
Yeah.
in that contemplative process.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue now that we've...
Do you know what this is?
We don't need to
It's
spend
fucking-
more time on this already
No,
long scene.
This is a fucking Tatami Galaxy all over again.
Yeah, but I love it. And I love this,
This is
weird art
way
shit.
cooler than Tatami Galaxy.
I like
in my
that too.
opinion.
Okay, so the fire finally goes out. He basically gets up. He picks up the egg. Obviously, we knew. At the time I'm watching the movie, I'm like, obviously he was always going to take the egg. But now that I'm thinking back, I was like, oh, that was really stupid of me to think obviously he was going to take the egg because he really was on the fence.
Yeah.
So he takes the egg, he puts it on the ground, he smashes it with his cross in silence. But the music is epic.
Yes.
Like you don't hear the sound of him smashing the egg, you're just seeing it happen. And the music is really telling the story here. Outside, the flood continues. The fishermen are frozen in place, voluntarily drowning, which was weird.
Well, they're ghosts essentially. So
we
they're
don't
just
know that.
Wow.
Ghosts of Christmas Past. You're
Yeah.
right.
So they're
They are
frozen.
ghosts.
We're ready to let them go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then we get a scene of the dude standing on a rooftop looking like just empty, completely void. Like he just doesn't care about life anymore. And in this moment, I'm thinking like, okay, Noah's Ark, the world's flooding. The water's going to eventually get him too. I'm like, is he just standing there waiting to drown? I don't know. But there's another thing that's weird is like the world's flooding and everything else is drowning. And then she wakes up, she steps on the eggshell. Like he doesn't die.
No.
Like, I don't understand how the world didn't flood him or her out. We
Well,
watched the world flood.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is it's in space.
Oh, thank you for clearing that
It's a
up.
pocket. It's a little pocket world that just is
Continue.
floating around in space.
Uh-huh.
Right. The tide comes in.
Yeah.
It's flooding, and then what happens? Like in Noah's Ark, it floods and washes everything away. But at the same time, there's still some things that
Okay.
are left behind.
You said a lot of really stupid things there. You said one thing that made a lot of sense. The tide comes in because one thing else I noticed about this movie, it all takes place over the course of one night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe that is just the tide coming in, and maybe he knows he can get to a top of a building
Yeah.
and wait it out, and that's the end of it.
Well, there's the one shot of the water hitting him.
That's
as he's
later.
Standing.
That's
later though when he's standing on the ground.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. Anyways, regardless, doesn't matter. So she wakes up, she steps on the eggshell, she cries like a fucking banshee, which
Yeah,
literally scared the
man.
shit out of me because it's also felt like a delay.
Uh-huh.
Like they hit you with it after you're ready for it.
Yeah, because you feel they make you feel it because you see her facial expression when she finds it.
They cut away from
and
her.
they cut away from it,
And then
yeah. So
exactly
very,
like that sound.
Very good editing there.
Yeah, it was
I
great.
really enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
So she runs out of the building, and we see actually for the first time that the building she was in has a weird alien bird egg on the top, which I was like, I don't know how that fits in. Still don't. Why it was there all the time, the whole time. They're like, oh, does the bird exist?
You just gotta look up.
Symbolism.
Symbology.
Mother
Okay, so
Mary.
as she's running, she falls into like a crack in the earth. Suddenly, what did you say?
It said Mother Mary.
Oh, which one's Mother Mary? The bird?
No, the child.
Oh, right. What's the bird?
Jesus.
We already have.
The Christmas turkey.
Cooked goose.
Oh God! If you guys have made it this far, listening,
Thank you. And
you guys
we're
are
sorry.
troopers.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Oh
Okay.
my God!
She falls.
Goose.
Oh my god, dude, I'm dying. Okay, she falls into a split in the earth. She's falling. She falls into water. As she hits the water, she kisses her reflection, and the pink one, which is her coloration up until this
Yeah.
point, her pink clothes. The other one's blue. The pink one disappears,
Yes.
and then the blue one sinks into the water. It's dying, essentially. We see it loses all the air in its breath, and I didn't even realize this in the moment, but Jay pointed out that the bubbles of the air actually float to the surface as eggs,
Yeah.
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 which I didn't even realize.
Did you guys also find that the blue one looked like an older version of her?
Yeah. So my viewing of that was her transition into this older version of her.
Yeah.
Herself. That was
Yeah.
a mirror version of her older.
Interesting.
that she melded with.
Yeah.
And then expelled her last breath, and that was a melded being of the two of them. But that was definitely, I think, meant to be an older version of her.
Interesting.
Absolutely, 100%.
We start after we see that scene. We start seeing the landscape, and it's now littered with these alien bird eggs. Like, they're like grown into trees in a weird way, and there's tons of them. So I don't know if the eggs she breathed out becomes those. I guess
I'm assuming because that's kind
Maybe.
of
That's how I viewed it.
Yeah, and actually, I wonder whether the egg he smashed became that one out of the building, and it wasn't always there. I don't know.
Yeah. See, you know what my thinking is now is that he was meant to smash it, or you would have only had one bird, right? But now, because he knows what she is, and
Mother Mary. He figured it out.
And so by knowing that, because he got confirmation of what was in the egg, by knowing that, he knew that she was going to go and merge because she had nothing else to do.
She
Right?
had,
You know
she
what I
had,
mean?
she, yeah, she had, that was a trigger, right? So
Yeah.
breaking the egg wasn't the way to fertilize the land or create the eggs.
It was to get her
Having
to run out of
die,
there.
Yeah.
Having her fall into despair and into nothingness,
Yeah.
and to allow herself to die and expel that last breath.
Yeah.
That was the mechanism of creating the life and the birth.
And I wonder, actually,
the only way he knew he could get him to do that was to take away her only reason for existence,
Yes.
which was protecting the egg.
Yeah.
Now she has nothing left.
Yeah.
No reason to exist, and he
Yeah.
knew that was going to be what it took to send her down.
Yeah.
And to start the process.
Symbology.
Symbology, totally. Mikey, fucking you nailed it. Dude.
All right.
That's exactly it.
Thank you.
Okay, so at the very end, you got one.
I got them all.
You did.
Ghost of Christmas Future, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of him, the Ghost of Christmas Future is standing kind of like, I don't know if it's a beach or a field or whatever. He's standing there, and there's feathers blowing in the wind all around him. And then suddenly there's like a blast out in the distance of the sea, and the giant eyeball with statues all over it rises from the waters. And we get close-ups on it, and the water's rushing up against him now, and he's basically staring it down.
Yeah.
Which now, looking back with Jay's genius theory, no thanks to Mikey, he's like, I played your game again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I thought long and hard about it, but like, you got me.
Another
Yeah.
one.
You got me.
Another one down.
Bring on the next one. He's
Yeah.
staring
I'll
it
be
down.
here ready and
Yeah.
waiting.
Yeah.
The Ghost of Christmas Future doesn't fuck around, right?
Yeah.
And then
be
you
here.
get the shot
Of her.
of the statue.
She's one of the statues. She's holding her egg. And then we get, as Jay called it, the longest zoom out of all time.
Oh my god.
Another like straight, what do you think, like 17 minutes zoom out?
Yeah.
Which
Zoom
very
out.
long.
But you also got to appreciate that zoom out though, because artistically,
Gorgeous.
they are so focused in on one tiny part
Yeah.
of this fucking massive picture.
Yeah.
Right? And zooming out to this, it's like those things that you would see
Infinity art?
Yeah, Infinity
online,
art.
and they keep
online.
zooming out and zooming out and zooming.
But they've done it in fucking paper and
Paint.
paint.
30 years
Right?
ago.
30
Or like Google Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
40
mean?
years ago.
Where you zoom in on your
Almost
house.
40 years ago. I know that because I'm almost that old.
Yeah.
Zoom in on your house and then
Yeah.
scroll out to space.
It's that. Yeah.
It's that.
And further.
But they
Yeah.
drew it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as we zoom out, and again,
Yeah,
this
it's
is
amazing.
none of this is making sense to me as I'm watching it, but now it's making a fucking shit ton of sense. Thank you, Jay. No thanks, Mikey.
You man.
So there's the stones, those stone patterns we keep seeing
Yeah.
on the beach or whatever, and we realize there's a pattern to them. There's like a grid pattern.
Yeah.
Right? There's like, they're sectioned off, and I'm like, what am I looking at? But yeah, Jay makes sense that they're like, maybe it is, I don't know if it's an experiment or whatever, but it does kind of make sense that that's their boundary
That's
in a
their
weird way.
plot.
That's their area, right?
Yeah.
That's the area for that girl and that egg and that shot.
It's how they divvy up farmland.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Rows and rows and rows.
Yeah.
And then you zoom out further, and it starts to take a weird kind of football shape. And I believe my exact words were, what the fuck am I looking at?
Do you know what you're looking at now?
I do now. It's the Ark.
It's the hull of the Ark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The planet, quote unquote, that we're on with those sectioned off stone plots is the Ark.
Yeah.
And as you zoom out, it looked to me like, and again, it's all hand drawn, so it's not quite obvious, but it looked to me like you're looking at it floating on a flooded sea,
Right.
right?
In space.
Floating
So-
through space.
So now we're talking
Yeah. Space Ark.
Yeah, in space.
I
Ark.
said in space at the beginning.
I'm not convinced on in space still.
I kind of am. I got that vibe.
I mean, it is on a planet,
How
and
do you
all
not
planets
get
are in
fucking
space.
especially when you have a fucking huge giant eyeball
Yeah.
that looks obviously alien coming out of the water and going into fucking space.
Well, into
How do
the
you
air.
not get space?
Yeah, in the way that all things celestial bodies exist in space. Yes, this planet exists in space as well. Okay,
But it's not a. It's a small
yeah,
planet. It's a mini planet, pocket planet.
yep,
According to the wiki,
yeah.
it says that the screen slowly zooms out to reveal that the land of the beach and the forest and the city is part of a small and lonely island within a vast sea, appearing not unlike the hull of an overturned ship.
So they see. I liked it the way I thought of it better than that, because I thought it was an actual ship
Same.
on a sea. Because we also did get shots of an actual ship throughout the movie. And so to me, I'm like, oh, that's what I was looking at in those past shots.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's trying to be both. You know what I mean? It's trying to walk that line and have that analogy kind of running.
The
The
symbolism.
island,
Yeah.
the ship,
Yeah.
the ark,
Yeah.
the planet,
Yeah.
the colony,
Yeah.
all of these things
Okay.
existing at once.
In different forms.
And it's made of earth
Yeah.
and rock and
Yeah.
land, but it looks like a ship, which would be made out of wood.
Yeah.
But it seemingly exists in space, like a space colony floating around.
Yeah.
That's visited by this floating eyeball spaceship.
Whoa.
Like there's a lot of ways you can look at it, right? But it's trying. I
Whoa.
feel like it's trying to hit all of them
Yeah.
in a weird way.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's being so ambiguous and so avant-garde that it's really kind of up to your own. Like it's trying to hit so many things, like you said,
Yeah.
so that you, no matter what you are, who watches it,
Yeah.
they're taking away something from it.
Yeah.
And it might be everybody's might be different.
Yeah, like two of us might think it's this brilliant story of like some sort of plot to like figure out how to bring life back
know
to
what
this
this
planet.
is?
And one of us might think it's a Christmas Carol featuring the ghost of Christmas
I've
future.
I've got it. Listen.
I cannot wait.
This is it. I can't remember what the story's called, but this is actually, it is in a sea, in like a dark sea.
Okay.
What we're seeing is the top of a turtle shell,
Continue.
and that's it. It's just on top of a big turtle, and that's the world in a big sea.
Oh, you're thinking of Terry Pratchett's The Disc World, not the Dick World. the Disc World?
Yeah, the disc world.
The
yes.
Disc World is four elephants standing on a
Standing
turtle's
on-
back,
back,
and
yes.
the flat Earth
Yes.
stands on the back of the
Yes.
four elephants. Is that what you're thinking?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
So you're a flat earther.
No, fuck you, man. Fuck you. You know what? Fuck you both. Hey, guys, thanks for coming out. Where can people find you, Jordy?
You want to score it or no?
Was that everything? Are we? Yeah, I guess we're done.
at the-
eh?
yeah, that's the end.
So one thing I didn't want to say, I didn't really get to do a senpai's corner. Anyway, we kind of just floated over that.
Like an arc in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay though. I guess we know Mamoru Oshii. But one thing that I guess I did want to bring up in that segment that I'll just bring up now is that this one didn't really do well with critics and on its initial release.
I wonder why.
It got pretty much flamed pretty bad.
Weird.
Oshii actually said that it kept him from getting any work for like several years, which I'm sure led into his time with Headgear, which ended up making Pat Labor, which was basically an indie production company of a bunch of individual artists that just said, we want all the production rights to whatever we make. We're going to do this guerrilla style ourselves. And that was off the heels of this. So that was a little bit hard to get, but over time, people obviously warmed up to it and people started to appreciate it in different ways. Brian Rue, who's a critical analysis of Japanese popular culture, stated that it was one of the most beautiful and lyric films in the animated medium. Helen McCarthy called it an early masterpiece of symbolic filmmaking. What was the other one? Richard Suchensky stated the film was Oshii's purest distillation of both Oshii's visual mythology and his formal style. The review noted that Pat Labor 2 is more sophisticated, Ghost in the Shell is more important, and Avalon is more mythically complex, but the low-tech, hand-drawn Angel's Egg remains Oshii's most personal film.
I could see that.
And
I
this
could
does
see-
feel very personal
Yeah.
to him. It feels like a true passion project.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not the case, but it feels like one guy made this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
know what
was
I mean?
basically 2.
Yeah. Well, that's like we were saying, like
Yeah.
being able to see the marker streaks is
Yeah.
insane to me.
Yeah.
Right. And that just adds a level of authenticity to it and my appreciation just for the medium.
And that's
Right.
why I say 2, right? Because you had Oshii directing, but then like those marker streaks, like that's Amano.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you had the one guy who was conceptualizing all of this,
Yeah.
and you had one guy who was actually bringing it
Yeah.
to life, and that's why it's such a clear, concise vision.
There's this is kind of off topic a little bit, but it's something I can relate to seeing like an artist's like signature in their work. But like there's obviously like endless amounts of cave art, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's one piece of cave art that stands out to me because it's a wall covered in, the artist would put his hand on the wall.
Yeah.
And then chalk around or draw whatever around
Oh,
the
yeah.
hand, and it's just a wall full of handprints. And I'm like, okay, you did cave art, but that's you.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the artist in this cave art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which is
literally.
really fascinating versus like a lion, a bull, a
Yeah.
character, a scene played out. I'm like, no, you gave me you.
That's right.
And I was
the
like, that's
purest
fucking
way.
sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that
Sick.
technique is actually they chewed on something and spat it out on their hand.
Oh, you could be right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Gross.
Anyways, we're gonna do some
Anyways.
ratings or what?
Sure.
Yes. All right, Jordy, what do you give it?
I didn't have time to think of a number, but I'll be honest with you. Like sitting downstairs, I was coming into this giving it a low number.
Yeah.
One person single-handedly changed that number for me. It wasn't Mikey. It wasn't the Ghost of Christmas Future. It was Jay and his concept. And I love that. That really puts so much of this into perspective for me. I think I gotta give it a minimum 7. I mean, the
Killer.
art is impressive for what it was, but it's not like it's not the kind of art where I'm like, I really want to watch a movie that looks like this. Like you're
Yeah.
not gonna find me doing that. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But now that we've given it some narrative,
Yeah.
this is going to live in my head. So I'm not giving it a 7, but I'm going to say minimum 7.
Yeah. If for anybody who's listening and gotten this far, this is as much like as we joke about this film, it is something that's really going to stick with you if you watch it.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I come back to it.
Sure.
Right? Like I can think of so many isekai animes that I've watched that I've just, in one ear out the other just because I just consume it. But this is one that I'm like from here on in. Oh yeah, angelsegg, that was crazy. Eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't remember what episode it was, what we were covering. I want to say maybe it was one of the older Gundam ones or something, but I think, Jordy, you said it. You were like, I couldn't put my finger on why, but I could tell that I was watching something important.
Oh, that was that was a Gundam episode. That was the
Yeah.
one with our little kid.
Char's Counterattack?
Or
Or
no, not
no,
Char's Counterattack.
Oh, War in the Pocket.
Yeah, War in the Pocket.
Okay, sure.
I can't. Either way, that line always kind of stuck. That has stuck with me. That line, because
Yeah.
like, and this one I think applies here as well. Where like,
Yeah.
you can tell that as you're watching this, that like this was an important thing that happened that
Yeah.
influenced a lot of things, and you feel like you're watching something historically significant to anime when you watch this. I
Yeah.
think,
Sure. I can vibe with that.
yeah, even though it's very culty and very,
A lot of
yeah.
the important things are, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good score. I like that.
Yeah.
I'll accept
I was
the
actually
7.
very surprised at that score.
Yeah.
It wasn't getting that until Jay made it make sense. Yeah.
This gets an 8 for me.
Yeah.
And that's like, a lot of that has to do with the art. That could go up the longer I ponder and just chew on this theory for the narrative, because that might give it an extra maybe 0.5 or something like that. But 8 is really solid just for like I said, an artistic exploration and something that, like I said, I come back to often, more than I thought I would, considering there's not much narrative. Sometimes I'll just throw it on when I'm drawing and I just like glance up every once in a while, and it just feels good to have on. It just feels inspirational to me in a lot of ways. So
Feels good, man.
yeah, I give it an 8.
Like what you said, it feels freeing, right?
Yeah.
So I give this a 6.5.
Wow. You really hated it, eh?
I all those points are towards the art. because I did really, really like the art, and I really appreciate the art. Because
Yeah.
I had a feeling you were struggling watching this one.
I was gonna say, I think you just didn't understand it based on your description of it.
The most annoying thing to say about Angel's Egg. I think you just didn't understand it.
I mean, you tried to explain it the way you understood it, and I mean, it's pretty telling.
I feel like out of the three of us, I kind of fit right in the middle. Where like Jay, you really love. I know you do love like a good plot and stuff like that, but you have your highest appreciation comes from art, right?
For sure.
And then Jordy's highest appreciation comes from having good plot and good story and
Characters.
characters.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, where I like kind of having a good mix of both.
Yeah.
And for me, the art was there, and like I love and I can appreciate this because you and I are both artists in our different ways.
Totally.
But as far as plot and what was going on, I'm still like, the fuck did I watch, man?
Yeah, dude.
I can tell that once again by the way you described it. And I won't bring it up ever again.
No, you know what? I've watched this so many times, dude, and like, I mean, I don't know if what I said I did just pulled out of my ass. You know what I mean? Like that, it's not something that you need to get hung up on.
Yeah.
And like I've said before, guys, I think I said it about fucking Escaflowne, maybe, or was it something else? If you don't know what's going on at any time in this, that's okay. You're not dumb.
Yeah.
You're not stupid.
Yeah.
You're not missing the point. Okay? Because it's not really there. You know what I mean? Like, chances are, if you're like, I don't know what's going on right now, you're right on the money.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, you don't know what's
Don't
going
worry.
on. Yeah.
Don't rewind. Nothing happened. Okay?
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
But even
yeah.
still, even if it was like say it was your like you were right on the money on like the narrative is, right?
Right.
I've heard this story before, right? And it like reiterated
Yeah.
in very many
Noah's
different
Ark.
times. Not just Noah's Ark, but like in some shape or form. Like there's the Prior Princess. I can't remember. I watched that a while ago, but that had like a really cool Noah's Ark kind of theme going on too. But it's just like I've heard it before.
Did that come out before 1985?
But
You heard it before.
I've heard it before. So how it influenced me,
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Fair enough.
right?
Fair enough.
Right. So
If you wanted to know the Mal score, since you love
Yes,
that,
I do love
very
that.
much, 7.7 on Mal.
wow.
So, Mikey, you really hated it.
Yeah.
I still gave it a passing grade.
But it's
6.5 is a passing
7.6 on IMDb, so it falls right in between Jordy and I's score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 and 8.
Way above Mikey's score. Yeah. Weird.
Mikey,
just-
you hate this more than most people.
You know what? It's just so abstract. Again,
is. It totally is.
I can appreciate the art because I do actually really appreciate it.
Totally.
I've said it multiple times
You have.
now,
You have.
but man, I am just
It's
so
an,
lost.
It's an no, dude. We're just busting your balls.
Yeah,
It's an
100%.
abstract as fuck movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not into abstract, weird art, metaphorical shit, you will fucking hate this.
Which is strange because I watched Disney's Dali, Salvador Dali's abstract like short film,
And you loved it.
and I loved it.
Yeah.
how long? Short film. How long was it?
Like 20 minutes, 30
That's a
minutes.
big. You just watched an hour and a bit of this.
Yeah, that's
dude.
fair.
20 minutes of which were one scene.
Yeah, I think it was around that much.
Like,
yeah.
think about it. If you were to cut all of the random shots of nothing out of this
Pull the
film
fisherman out completely.
and edit this down to 30 minutes,
Yeah.
what's better, this or the Salvador Dali thing?
Still the Salvador Dali.
Okay, you might just be a huge Dali fan then.
I do really like Dali though.
Yeah. Maybe you should start a podcast about that. No.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I love anime.
I'm just joking.
Salvador Dali, Schmalvador Dali.
You guys can find me at Shmanime Pod on TikTok.
And at Dali Schmally,
Mikey's rage quitting this episode.
Angel's egg broke him.
Yeah.
Like he broke the egg.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Where can people find you, Jordy?
They can find me at Reaching In on Instagram, and I just realized my shirt's the same color as the wall.
I love that, dude. I love that.
Literally in this moment.
I love that.
It's gonna be a floating.
It's like a green screen
Yeah,
mishap.
it's a brown screen.
Yeah. I don't know how I can top that sign off, but I'll try. You can find me at hanger.91 on Instagram or hanger91.bigcartel.com.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for coming out, guys.
Where are we going to find you, Mikey?
Shmanime pod, like I said. On TikTok,
Oh, sorry. Yeah. In the
And
Discord.
through Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Wait, where do we find cats?
Oh, yes. Donate to Never Not Kittens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm exhausted right now.
Yeah.
He's saving cat lives.
Every
You can-
day.
and you can help.
Literally.
Yeah.
Wait till we.
Wait till we'll be.
Wait till we.
Wait till we.
What's that?
Like literally, but like with a W.
But why do you both say it like it's an inside joke that I'm not a part of?
See you
It's
later,
not, it's
everybody.
just-
Bye.
Okay, bye.